Since over 50,000 Canadians experience a stroke each year, we probably all know someone who's had a stroke. It's a traumatic event, but with improvements in care, more and more people are stroke survivors. Many stroke survivors depend on rehabilitation to optimize their abilities and participation post-stroke. This includes helping them gain muscular strength and endurance, or relearn how to drive. Therefore, it's imperative they receive the best stroke rehabilitation care possible. Optimal stroke rehabilitation can be achieved with a sustained use of clinical practices which have been shown to be effective. It's the sustained use that is critical. If a clinical practice is only used by a clinician or a rehabilitation center for a few months, then all stroke survivors needing care after discontinuation lose out on receiving the benefits from that clinical practice. Unfortunately, only an estimated 40 to 60% of clinical practices are sustained over the long term. To ensure all stroke survivors receive the best rehabilitation care possible, we need to better understand how to support the sustained use of effective clinical practices. My name is Rebecca Ataman, and in my doctoral research, I want to optimize stroke rehabilitation care by understanding how to sustain effective clinical practices over the long term. To recap the existing research, we know the pieces of the puzzle to optimize sustainability, but we haven't put it all together yet. Specifically, we know about the use of certain strategies to encourage the sustained use of clinical practices. We know that certain key barriers and facilitators exist in the clinical workplace, and we have some good ideas about certain decisions that are made to sustain or not sustain the use of an effective clinical practice. What we don't know is how all these puzzle pieces fit together to result in a sustained or unsustained clinical practice. If we can understand the entire sustainability puzzle instead of just its individual pieces, we can create targeted guidelines to help clinicians and rehabilitation centers sustain the use of effective clinical practices in stroke rehabilitation. To understand how to sustain effective clinical practices and develop guidelines, I am working with clinicians, managers, and researchers in stroke rehabilitation on 4 interconnected projects. In Project 1, we worked together to review the existing literature in all fields of rehabilitation. Then in Project 2, we applied our understanding to help us plan how to sustain a new clinical practice for stroke rehabilitation at 3 career sites. Next year, in Projects 3 and 4, we will evaluate the sustainability of that clinical practice. Taken together, these projects allow for an iterative refinement of our understanding of how to sustain a clinical practice in stroke rehabilitation. At the end of this doctoral work, guidelines will be developed which can be used by other clinicians, managers, and researchers in rehabilitation to help them sustain the use of an effective clinical practice. Ultimately, I hope this will lead to improved care for stroke survivors. Thank you.